Alright, so exciting news ahead for where winds meet. We are getting official updates coming up really soon for both PC and PlayStation 5. And yes, if you were wondering, this also includes support for multi-character creation. Among other things we're gonna talk about in this video, there's also the supposed mobile launch towards the end of the year, and of course the all-awaited patch 1.2 with even more content, bosses, and a whole new zone. And I'm gonna start straight with the blog post, as it does give us more detail about some of the stuff coming up. It seems that there's also going to be a mid-December update being planned, especially for some of the connectivity issues, some of which have already been addressed and are still ongoing, such as like high latency for online mode, but also the issue that similarly affects the solo mode is something expected to be fixed in the mid-December updates. Other network connectivity issues as well, especially for players that connect from regions like Europe and Middle East and whatnot, are in the plans as well for these updates. But most important, we have more text localization and voiceovers. Of course, we do know that this game desperately needs a lot more of that. We've revised many translations to make them more idiomatic and easier to understand. Additionally, we've optimized dubbing and subtitles in various story quests. We will continue to refine the localization of the game to make the region more immersive. I don't really know how to pronounce these names, so just bear with me for the time being. In terms of the interface, we've improved the beginner tutorial, enhanced character customization, and refined English clues for puzzle solving quests. You guys have no idea how much of a difference the global launch makes compared to even the early access that we had just prior to the game launch. Like, there have been numerous big changes with the day one patch as well, not just the ones that they've added along the way. So in terms of some of the other stuff coming up, these are just some examples of key optimizations, but looking ahead, we've committed to ongoing improvements in other key issues. So they detail some of them, including for text localization, further PS5 compatibility, and even multi-character creation features. This is probably the most exciting. Regarding multi-character creation, we're addressing platform restrictions and actively seeking solutions to meet your expectations. I'm not sure exactly why this is even missing in the global launch, given that the default Chinese client already had that option, and I'm pretty sure at least one of the betas already had us create multiple characters anyway. For the time being, as far as I'm aware, the only way in which you can create a new character is by literally unlinking your current account from, the client installation, pretty much deleting that straight from the menu screen, and then having to recreate another one to link back up, and only then you can create a new character, and even then it's going to still be one per account. So in my opinion, just wait for the mid-December update, and hopefully these will drop by then as well. Also, for PS5 platform, working hard on enhancing frame rate, stability, and visual quality. You can expect to see these gameplay improvements within the year, so this is also going to be part of the next couple of months. And also optimizing multilingual localization is a continuous effort, and we've received many impressive translation suggestions through your open channels. We plan to launch co-creation events in the future, allowing your voice to shape the world of where winds meet. So I'm not sure if this implies some kind of, like, I don't know, collab, like voice artist collab, because otherwise it may be a little bit challenging to put all of this into practice. But over the next 2 months, we will gradually roll out several updates, including the Steam Deck compatibility, optimized multi-time zone display, split outfit customization, PS5 Pro support, 4P SSR, enhanced audio experience, and more. Our goal is to create a Django that everyone can enjoy, and we welcome any further suggestions you may have. So there is your update for the time being, mid-December, but there should be multiple updates until the end of December. And I'm definitely expecting maybe some other, thank you packages, given the fact that the game just broke out at 250,000 concurrent players on Steam alone, which is just wild. And we know that at least a couple of times already there have been some care packages in the mail dropping with some extra like Echo Jade and few other currencies as well. Now, in terms of future updates, there seem to be some patches coming up. One of the patches may be as early as within the week, basically. If we pay attention to some of the Steam database and look out to some of the patches, we can see that there is one planned, or at least one that was in the works. As early as today, 25th November, there's another patch that either dropped or is about to drop with some other upcoming changes. It's like very hard to notice since it doesn't really show any details. Now, of course, all of this is nice and everything, but what about new content? Well, if we pay attention to the Chinese version, it released on December 27th, and after 16 days, it already got the patch 1.2, which added, of course, some really interesting new storyline. River God, new region over there, the northwestern part of Kaifeng, which is currently missing for our global release version, and also the story continuation and conclusion for the Kaifeng narrative. And if we take a look right now at the timeline in the game, although we have 6 days remaining for the next breakthrough to level 60, if we take a look at the main narrative instead, we just finished the Dao Lord of the Unbound Cavern. However, the timeline for the next story continuation is just about like 2 more days, or about 1 day and a half at the time of making this video, so it should release on the 28th. Meaning that the final 2 chapters of the main campaign are not far off either, and the next chapter is literally going to be the one bringing us to the northwestern part of the map, the Yellow River area, which also involves that boss fight against the River Deity and the Dragon King, and this was something that released on the 12th of January on the Chinese version. Then a day later, they got the final chapter of the main campaign involving the Furnace of Righteousness, which is literally this location on the western part of the city. I'm going to suspect that we may have a slight delay or intra-chapter sort of like break, like how we used to have with some of the previous chapters in the past couple of weeks. So at least in terms of like timeline, it should be very similar within this month to finalize everything that has to be done with the main story of Kaifeng. Now, what did release with patch 1.2 and the final chapter? Well, actually quite a lot of boss encounters, if you can believe that. So if you were to take a look at the northwestern part of the map, it's actually pretty big, so this already includes lots of other locations, dungeons, and most important, also our oddities collection will continue. But even more so, we have at least a couple of boss fights over here, with the most important being that against the duo River Deity and Dragon King encounter, in which you have to fight both of them pretty much at the same time. They have some really interesting mechanics in there too that I cannot wait to see, like deflecting projectiles and paying attention to water cannons, plus the guy with a massive sword looks really interesting. But then a day later in the Chinese version, they finally got that Furnace of Righteousness as the final chapter, which continued and finalized the main story and concluded with the Black God of Wealth boss encounter. And like I said in the other video, what's interesting about this is that in the middle of the combat, the boss will throw piles upon piles of Echo Jade towards you, so you have to make a conscious decision. Do you get to fight the boss, or do you collect like a beggar all of the stuff that he throws at you? But in the process, you can also get stunned or just not pay attention, and the boss will absolutely flail the heck out of you, which sounds like such an interesting mechanic, like I said before, to take advantage of your own greed. And of course, within the week after that, by 17th January, 3 world bosses also got released, the Nameless General as well as the Drunken Fist, which were both right here south of the location in Kaifeng, both world bosses that were quite difficult. And finally the Coffin Master, probably the more difficult of the 3, further up north in the first region. You can already access these locations, but nothing will spawn there just yet. You can however see the themes, and they look definitely like some nice arenas to get blasted in. But on a final note, there were a few other things launched within that month, so I'm suspecting it will follow a similar route here as well. For those of you who are interested in like the gacha stuff and all of the paid outfits and whatnot, there were quite a few that looked pretty interesting, like the Celestial Vanguards, which were the $30 paid versions. Also others that were a little bit cheaper, the Secrets of Southern, I don't know what the translation is basically, but this was the cheaper version, although in my opinion the male outfit looks so much better than the one that's a lot more expensive. And obviously eventually we should get like Chinese New Year, which should launch with another battle pass. And looking at the timeline, we have about like 15 days left in our current battle pass. plus adding maybe a little bit of a break over there until the other one gets released. That one also launched with its own sort of outfits and own challenge tracks as well. I'm suspecting that's going to maybe drop at the start of January, but who knows. There were other, of course, interesting outfits there for the gachas as well that looked really impressive, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm not keeping hopes too high to even be able to get these. However, if you were saving on some of the like gacha stones or converted your existing costume to that, you can definitely maybe wait for these ones. In my opinion, I think that they look a little bit better. On a final note, we also have the mobile version, which at the current time doesn't have an official launch date. Even going by the official channels, the only thing close to that is the iOS version. For the App Store, we see an expected release date of December 31st, 2025, though I'm pretty sure this is a placeholder. There were some rumors about a possible December 12 release date, though the only source I was able to find was some obscure website and maybe relating to some tweet, but that was basically it, nothing official. You can, however, pre-register on the Google Play Store variant and stay up to date with it. I'm going to assume that this is going to make it up eventually, but I would probably see this being pushed to early 2026 as well, given the volume of work that they obviously still have for the global PC and PlayStation 5 launch. But anyway, that about covers everything we should expect in the next couple of months if things go as planned. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.